Direct from San Francisco, California, in the heart of the Tenderloin, welcome to the Kiff and Ang Podcast, San Francisco Lockdown Edition, a subsidiary of Kiff and Ang Productions in association with Kiff and Ang Studios, online at kiffandangpodcast.com. And now, Kiff and Ang.
All right. Boop, and a boop, and a boop, and we're live. We are live with the Kiff and Ang Show, live from the Tenderloin / East Bay.
We're live from here and there.
Here and there.
Welcome to the age of technology.
Now we are on our final series. And huzzah!
Final episode of our first series.
Our first series is, I'm looking at the write-up of it as we speak. So as we start talking about big conspiracies in San Francisco associated with COVID-19, we'll be finishing up. That's very exciting. And what's our next series going to be?
Oh, gosh. Okay, so there's going to be a couple of things happening. You just got to pay attention for which one it's going to be and when it's going to happen. But we have notorious crimes in San Francisco history, which has got some stuff that I guarantee, I will put $1 on this. People have no idea it happened in San Francisco.
$1, ladies
no
and
idea.
gentlemen. $1.
Bring it on. And then, of course, we are officially in what month?
June. Pride Month.
Pride Month.
Unless you're
Oh my
listening to
gosh.
this in August. Then we're in August.
Yeah. But right now, while we're recording this is Pride Month. And man, I know that there's a lot going on in the world right now, but Pride is the best party San Francisco has year long. And I just really hope it happens. And we are going to do our very best to cover whatever is available for Pride and SF, because this is where it was born, baby.
So now on to our conspiracy topic. Now, we've talked about a lot of different COVID-19 related things in San Francisco, but
they're making it up.
You think it's a hoax? You think that there is, but who does think it's a hoax? You're right in the Tenderloin. You talk to the homeless community.
Well, I tell you, there's a whole bunch of people out on the sidewalk right now with no masks that will come very closely to you and say, this is a hoax. I'm not dead. Look at me. Don't you think I would be the one that would be dead?
That's what everybody thought. I thought, oh gosh, it's going to sweep through the homeless community.
Yeah, that's their biggest argument. I have one friend that is like Keith Richards. There's going to be cockroaches, Keith Richards, and this guy. I have seen him put things in his vein that came off of a sidewalk.
And you say that there's never been anybody out trying to test people or take their temperatures or anything.
There is on a daily basis. San Francisco's homeless outreach team, also referred to as the HOT team. I've seen them 2 days in a row. They're very accessible. They bring a doctor with them. They do physical assessments on site. When I had there's a lot of people housing in tents, and I had a couple of older women get pushed around and bullied around the block, and I gave them permission to camp on my sidewalk for a night or two, and I called HOT team and had them intervene, and they brought a doctor with, and they can get them into hotels if they're over 60 years old or if they have an underlying condition.
Right.
And these women, I would have thought were over 60 years old, to be honest, but they're not. And I was like, you should lie.
Yeah. Did they lie?
You have a horrible, no, but it was too late. I was like, the next time they bring a doctor, you can cough.
Yeah.
But then I proceeded to spend the day watching them both, indulge in their addiction of choice. And they were 100% consumed by that. And
As addiction does.
zero.
As addiction does.
Yes. Yeah. They were incapable of moving, incapable of going to the places they needed to get the help. And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They were just like frozen. And that's what we have come to in terms of that situation. But those are the people that 100% they don't buy that there is any COVID going on.
Because if there was,
they'd
looting
is coming from.
Do you think the looting is coming from the homeless population?
Well, the looting is coming from the lack of the economy that is occurring throughout the homeless and street population. we have none of the major retail stores open that they would boost from, that they would sell stuff on the street to get the money to buy the drugs. And the drugs, the fentanyl and the opium, come from Mexico and China and India.
The boosters I've known personally, and I've met a few boosters, were not homeless at all. The boosters were young
but
people.
They're part
of criminals. Yeah,
they're part of the economy.
Yes,
they're part of the street economy.
100%. And I was telling a friend of mine that the other day that all of this looting is so crazy right now because basically there's a small part of our population that feeds their families by stealing from stores, and those stores aren't open.
Ones that we're boosting.
Oh, they're not, but those stores aren't open anymore. You know what I mean?
No, they swept down my street today. There were 3 or 4 different spots where people had set up shop in the middle of the night.
What?
And it's real. I mean, they're just stolen property everywhere.
Like what? Like anything good? My mom goes, you would never loot, would you? I go, come on, Mom. If a free TV sat in front of you, you wouldn't take it? She goes, well, not with all those cameras there.
Right? They don't care about the cameras. But yeah, so here's the thing is they have the loot to get the drugs, but ultimately this is the way this is all going to roll down is all these people that nobody wants on the streets that are causing the problem, that won't go in the hotels and won't do this thing, are the ones that end up with the stolen property sitting in their tents trying to sell it to support their drugs.
Yeah. Which
means the police have rolled along today and swept up all of those people with stolen property in possession.
What's it like on the street now?
Empty.
Do you think this was part of that hoax, part of that conspiracy theory that some people were talking about, that it was all just a way to clean the streets in San Francisco? Well, where are those people going to go? Where are those people going to go?
Let me add to it that London Breed did not stop construction throughout the entire pandemic. Construction. I have pictures of it.
Wait, what did you say?
Repeat what you just said. That only 4 blocks from Union. It just so conveniently happens, just 4 blocks from Union Square, they have piled a huge pile of rocks in front of my apartment.
What?
In the name of road construction.
Now, you think this is to keep people from living there, or for Antifa to come and use them to disrupt traffic?
Antifa. I think that they put that there. They did not cover it up, and they didn't give a crap about it all night long, so that they gave people opportunity to make themselves criminals and get arrested.
Angela, really?
By people, I'm talking about opportunistic criminals.
But here's the deal. I saw similar stuff in New York City, and I saw similar stuff in New York City. Bricks. Because in Hong Kong, that was one of their ways of that was a Hong Kong method. You'd see people leave out bricks in the road, and that way the cars had a harder time getting through. You couldn't run people over that way.
Well, I've seen tactics like that before too. When we had the anti-war protests, I could watch the day before the protests were scheduled to happen. The organizations came through and they hid things that could be used as shields and helmets and bottles of urine in all of the neighborhoods. And they moved trash cans in certain places. And I watched them. So here comes San Francisco PD, and there's good 50 feet between them. You know, a big space. And they're lockstepping, and they're just very calm, and they're not yelling. But the protesters, as they go, are grabbing, and this is back in like 2000s.
Okay.
They're grabbing the shields and the helmets, and they're whipping the bottles of urine at the police, and none of the police broke line. No one. They didn't care. Throw all you want at us. We don't care.
Yep.
And didn't. Because what is it? What difference does it make? Somebody's going to hit you.
Right.
You're going to get hit. You're a cop.
So.
And you can't go break. Yeah.
Let me just bring this back.
So the conspiracy holds.
You think that it was the city, not a group, not an outside group that left those rocks there to basically get the homeless to get themselves in trouble? Is that that's the theory. That's the hoax.
That is one of the theories on the street.
I see.
That happens to be going on. I don't believe that.
I see.
But I do feel like, wow, it's kind of convenient. There's a huge pile of rocks right here. You know?
Now,
just saying.
We also have to touch on one of the biggest conspiracy theories out there, which is that 5G causes the coronavirus, which is completely biologically impossible. There is no way.
I love that one.
Isn't that funny?
That's my favorite.
Isn't that funny? Wouldn't it be funny if the coronavirus was just the cloak to get 5G out there, and that 5G actually did other horrible things to us? But
oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I could see that.
Yeah,
I could see that.
Yeah.
But and for real, let's be for real. I'm concerned about 5G, but it has nothing to do with that. It has to do with Huawei, the Chinese-owned company.
Oh, Huawei. Yeah.
Yeah, Huawei, the Chinese-based company that the CCP, if you're Chinese-based, if your company is in their mainland, the Chinese Communist Party can go in and say, give us that technology, and they get it.
Yeah, and they're not even as good as iPhones.
No.
According to YouTubers I watch this whole thing about YouTubers who moved to China because they could make a better living off of their brand of YouTube or whatever, and they always talked about how great Huawei was on the screen, but then behind the screen they always used iPhones. Anyway, I digress.
Yeah, right?
I digress.
And then we also have to remember that prior to the pandemic, people were already objecting to the 5G.
Yeah.
So we were a lot of
and
people
in fact,
were
not
already
just objecting, but like
hardline.
some cities like Santa Rosa and Petaluma, I think
Yeah.
they had like put out laws. And did you ever keep your eye on the Sutro Towers? Did you notice that?
No, I never get to see them because I'm too far down in the fog.
Well, I guess late in 2019, they'd been talking about I read an article in SF Curbed, and it was saying that one of the 3 poles had been missing. People had been noticing it. What's the deal? And they were very, very good about not saying much. But what they were doing is putting 5G up there in Sutro Towers. And quite coincidentally, everything went into effect. It all powered up on March 9th. So I'm just...
Yeah.
I don't know. I just find that to be an
There was a lot...
And were you...
Exactly. It's
and
like...
did we not talk, since we're being conspiracy theorists, about the electromagnetic something or other being super high at that time, and how both of us were just like, feeling out of skin and awkward and just crazy. Like, maybe that was just the coronavirus. Maybe I've been watching too much Alex Jones.
No. There was we probably have been watching too much television. And yeah, there was a time when we were both like definitely like, oh my God, I'm going to call my friend that knows about astrology because this clearly must have something to do with it. I don't know what to think. I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And we were both like, I can't do it. I can't function today. Today's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
So that happened.
5G.
Yeah.
My internet's not any
5G,
faster either.
I have not noticed any difference either, to be frank.
See, thank you. All
right.
We've laughed at 5G.
Well, then we got...
There's nothing...
Yeah, 5G.
It's kind of funny.
And let's finalize the whole 5G conspiracy with, there are countries that don't have 5G that do have COVID.
And also...
So...
Russia... I'm also, like, I'm not a big backer of these Russian bots or controlling the American narrative, but I have seen quite a bit about Russian bots kind of like, we don't want them to have fast internet. Let's mess with America. Let's mess with America.
Right. America. Why? Sure, we have Wi-Fi.
Right. How about the biggest one, though? And I think San Francisco, the hotspot for it, because we're the technological center of the country anyway.
Oh, yeah.
And that is the microchip theory, that we're all getting microchipped now, and that was the whole point of this.
Yeah. Well, I have not personally heard much about that, but I think that ties into Bill Gates having some
George Soros
having some advanced, or people believing they have some advanced knowledge about what was going to happen. I mean, people get those memos, and it doesn't matter how far back you dig or how far deep you look. People have been talking about pandemics everywhere all the time. It's a topic of conversation.
Well, the whole Bible was kind of written like the ending, and the world.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Bill Gates didn't just suddenly think up, okay, so now I'm going to talk about a pandemic and warn you all
Right.
that I'm unleashing a pandemic. That's 0 cents.
Well,
Zero. But microchipping, where do you get the microchip and how does it happen? Where's that coming from? I'm curious.
some people say that the testing, when they
In
test
the swab
you,
that goes up your
yeah,
nose.
that just doesn't seem like. I feel
I
like
pick
I
my
have trouble
nose a lot.
I have trouble updating apps on
I
my
pick my nose a
phone.
lot. I pick my nose a lot, and I have the test, and I feel like there's no chip in there.
Yeah, I just
But
the thing
my
is I've got an
my phone puts
Alexa
up the stuff.
and I've got a phone and I've got this computer. If they want to know where I am,
Yeah,
they know.
yeah,
They know.
yeah, yeah. My phone does funny things. I did a temporary stint for the city during the election, and now suddenly I get all of the city alerts
Oh, really?
in like weird ways. Like
That's cool.
I get it in some weird notification that's not part of text messaging. I don't know where this notification comes from.
That's kind of
It
interesting, though.
appears on my phone.
You get to know all the good stuff early.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah. A little bit. I mean, it's not like it's just stuff they tell all city employees, Just most of it. The one I got yesterday said don't go to work unless you're a disaster employee or have been told to go to work.
And did you go to work?
Well, no, I don't work for them anymore. I was just temporary. They haven't taken me off the list. COVID hit. Actually, COVID was happening while I was working at City Hall during the primary election.
Ooh.
I know, and I'm okay. Look, I
You
survived.
had your test.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of a good way to wrap this guy
I
up.
want to talk. I want to talk about, did it escape from a lab?
Oh, did it escape from a lab? And what do you think?
Is it a biological weapon?
I think nature's scary is what I think. I think, damn, nature, you're scary.
Do you think the drug addicts aren't getting it because of the drugs and booze?
This is a question I genuinely have. And
'Cause
then I don't get the flu shot because I'm not old and I'm not vulnerable and I'm not putting that stuff into my body. Don't judge me. I don't get the flu shot. When I'm old, I'll get it. If I ever get vulnerable, I'll start getting it. But I'm not sick at all. I feel like that was the other thing is the flu shot is causing the coronavirus. See? Look it. I'm conspiracizing my life for you right now.
I got the flu shot and I don't have it.
You don't have it either. So
No.
All right.
That blew that one out of the water. Myth busted. Moving on.
That was obviously a that's
like
that's
that's all it
science,
takes to
ladies
myth,
and gentlemen.
to
That
bust a myth.
is that's exactly what science is. So
Clearly it's a lie. We've proven it wrong. But the whole Wuhan laboratory
no.
and first of all, I think that people need to understand that Wuhan is like massive. It's one of their metropolitan cities. And it's not a little town that had a fish market and like 4 blocks away there was a laboratory. You know? And other countries have the same kinds of laboratories.
Absolutely. But
Yeah.
you did hear all this noise about American scientists being arrested because they were sending
Yeah.
out. Here's genuinely my theory is that nature's just scary sometimes, and that pandemics have been sweeping the world since the beginning of the world. And
Yeah.
honestly, I don't think if we didn't have the internet, none of this lockdown would have happened. That's my opinion.
It would have happened because they managed to lock down 1918 and the internet did not exist. They figured out
All right.
masks.
It wouldn't have happened as
They
quickly.
figured out
then.
dividers.
It wouldn't have happened as quickly.
No, surely would not have happened as quickly. But if we didn't have the internet, we also would not have the mode to move as quickly as we do
Yeah.
through the world
Yeah.
to pass the virus on as fast as it got passed.
Yeah, that's true.
So that all kind of goes hand in hand.
Now, we have both agreed that we don't think that this was created artificially. But what do you think about the phrase by Rahm Emanuel, never let a good crisis go to waste?
I 100% that if there is an opportunity to be taken, believe that politicians, especially authoritarian political group, I believe 100% with complete conviction that an authoritative country such as the People's Republic of China being ruled by the Chinese Communist Party, would absolutely take a natural opportunity and use it to their advantage in every way, shape possible.
The opinions and topics discussed in any Kiff and Ang production or show are meant to be controversial, provocative, and possibly create a conversation that is not already being had. The most important thing to remember about this production is that it has zero educational or historical value other than from a purely popular parody perspective. By listening to this podcast, you understand that it is solely for entertainment purposes. Copyright disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, parody, scholarship, and research. Kiff and Ang Productions is meant to provide parody in an already difficult life. If you find no humor or entertainment in our productions, well, for goodness sakes, don't listen.